Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. We got a good one prepared today. What we'll be doing is we'll be looking at our 2025 to 2026 USC Trojans football team. We have Lincoln Riley here, year 4 in LA. What's going to happen? He had a little bit of a setback last season, but he's built some momentum coming into this season, especially when it comes into recruiting coming in next season. But obviously, that's not going to help their team this year. But what we're going to do today is we're going to look at their entire 25-26 football schedule. We're going to run through it game by game, break down every single matchup, and try to predict the Vegas predictions of what's going to be the outcome to all these games. Which games are they going to win, lose, which games might be toss-ups. We're going to break them all down, and I'm not saying whether they're going to win or lose. It's what does Vegas predict preseason-wise as of right now. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Let me know down in the comments, do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on what's going to happen to this Trojans team this upcoming season? And I will make sure to respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look down at the pinned comment below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate that. Once the football season starts, that's college football, that's NFL, we go over every single game. Every week, we break down all the matchups. We do predictions. We do best bets. We do money lines, spreads, over-unders. If you're a sports fan, if you're a football fan, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Looking at the schedule there for USC. We know year 4, Lincoln Riley, he went 7-6 last season with the bowl victory. A lot of pressure on him. People were dogging this guy at the midpoint of last season. I've always loved Lincoln Riley personally. I do think he is the best offensive mind in all of college football. And no one is better at developing and playing to your quarterback's strengths than Lincoln Riley. I love the scheme he runs. I love what he does with the offensive lines, the wide receivers, the running backs. And of course, this guy kicks out Heisman winning quarterbacks like it's nothing. It's crazy. What does he have? 3 Heisman winners, and he's had 4 or 5 get invited to the Heisman ceremony. Props to him. Props for what he can do. But obviously, quarterback coming into the season. You have Mayava coming back as your quarterback. He kind of filled in last season when he became the full-time starter later in the year. Didn't necessarily light things up. One thing that I will say about him, sometimes he can be a little careless with the football. He is a mobile quarterback. Came in last season, threw for like 1,300 yards. 11 touchdowns, ran for 4 touchdowns. But one thing he will do is he will extend plays with his legs. I wouldn't say he's a run-first quarterback, not by any means, but he's a quarterback who can be mobile. He can extend plays. He still keeps his eyes looking down the field. He has the legs to get out of pressure, scramble, hit the guy. He can run play action. He can do everything that Lincoln Riley needs him to do. And Lincoln Riley now, with a full offseason with him as his quarterback, he's going to have the scheme geared towards his strengths. That's one thing he wasn't able to do last season because obviously they had a different quarterback playing, and he just kind of got through in there at the very end of the second half. But now everything's going to be geared around him. So what's going to happen with this USC offense? They lost a couple pieces. They lost Branch, but overall, they do have their top 2 returning pass catchers coming back. We know that he's going to have a great wide receiver core. They're going to have Lane back. They're going to have Lemon. They are bringing over Jordan, one of the JUCO players of the year last year, as their running back. The wide receiver core is going to be good. The offensive line is going to be much better. They have McCree at the tight end position. We know a USC team under Lincoln Riley, they're going to score some points. What about that defense, though? Year 1 under D'Anton Lynn, massive steps forward. You cannot knock them at all. They actually had a pretty good defense last season, and they were getting better every single week. You saw a complete change when it came to physicality from that 23 to 24 college football teams for the USC Trojans. They're going to be even better year 2. Year 2 in this scheme, they're developing, they are recruiting, they're going to be physical. That's what you need in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is a line of scrimmage conference. You got to line up, you got to beat me in the trenches. He's definitely brought that physicality. I do think we're going to continue to see improvements there. When you're looking at the schedule there on the side of the screen, blue stars means the games that Vegas predicts them to win as of right now. Red stars, the games that Vegas predicts them to lose as of right now. And the yellow, those are the toss-ups. I'm not saying they're going to win them. I'm not saying they're going to lose them. It's just there's too many unknown variables right now. We need to wait till the season starts once they played a couple games to see. Some teams are breaking in new quarterbacks. We just don't know how they're going to look. I don't trust spring football at all. Everyone's team looks great in spring, and then the season starts and they look like a complete slouches. I want to see when the whistle goes, what do these teams look like on the field with my own eyes. But let's start running through these games. Let's start breaking them all down. Our first game is going to be Saturday, August 30th. This is a team that went 8-4 last year. The Missouri State Bears coming to the Coliseum. This is a team you want to start out the season with. They're not an awful team. They're just an okay team, but you're obviously going to curb stomp them. You are going to be heavy favorites, but you want to kind of get your guys warmed up. So once you get into Big Ten play, you've had a couple cupcakes. The offense and the defense are both finely tuned at that point. They're obviously going to be heavy favorites here. It's not even going to be a close game. It's going to be one of those 60-10 type games. And then kind of an under the radar, interesting game, Saturday, September 6th, Georgia Southern Eagles coming to the Coliseum. If you're wondering why that's interesting, who's the coach at Georgia Southern? It's Clay Helton, the old USC coach that got fired. He returns to the Coliseum. He's probably going to get booed, but him and Lincoln Riley, they're going to shake it out. They're going to be fine. Georgia Southern actually doesn't have a bad offense at all. They could potentially score some points here. They run that up-tempo scheme. They run the ball a lot. It's going to be a nice, good early challenge for the USC defensive line. Obviously, they're not going to have issues, but you want a lighter challenge, so once you get into the Big Ten running games, you are physicality set up there, and you are finely tuned at that point. Obviously, with Georgia Southern, their defense is awful. Their defense was 83rd in the nation last season. They were getting torched every single game, so this is also a game for USC to just let it fly, score some points, run the score up, and it's your old coach, so you obviously want to run the score up, especially for you Trojans fans. You probably want to win this game 70-0. It's going to be a game where you're going to be easy favorites. Now it's time for Big Ten football play at the Purdue Boilermakers, West Lafayette, Indiana, Saturday, September 13th. Can Purdue start out the USC season with their first conference loss? Not likely. I don't think in any way whatsoever. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. They really don't bring anything to the table. Not to insult the Boilermakers, but they're going to be outclassed here. I want to see USC coming off that game versus Georgia Southern with that offense in full up-tempo high scheme, just beating down people. That's what you want to see from a Lincoln Riley team. Let the defense do their thing. Let the Anton finally tune that. I want to see that offense rolling here to start the season. Let's not get behind in games. They're going to win this one. They're going to be easy favorites. And now the game's already starting to get a little more competitive. Saturday, September 20th, the Michigan State Spartans coming to the Coliseum. Michigan State, year 2 under Jonathan Smith. Obviously, he knows USC. He knows Lincoln Riley. He's coming from the Pac-12 just like USC is. This is his second season at Michigan State. He had to completely flip the roster last season, brought in a lot of starters. He brought in Aiden Childs, highly recruited quarterback coming out of high school. 2,400 yards last season, 13 touchdowns, 11 picks. Kind of a little careless with the ball, but it was his first season as a full-time starter here. A little bit of a talent gap here, getting acclimated to college football. He's going to be better this season. But what are their playmakers going to be around Michigan State? I do think this is an upgrade in the competition. I do think USC is going to be heavy favorites this game. But this is one of those games, for some reason, whenever you play Michigan State, they can be awful. They usually pull off 1 or 2 upsets per season. So if you're a Trojans fan, you just don't want to be the stat this time. You don't want to be the upset. But I do think that they'll be heavy favorites this game. And now we're getting really interesting games. Saturday, September 27th at the Fighting Illini, Champaign, Illinois. This is an interesting game. Obviously, Brett Bielema team, you know they're going to be disciplined. You know they're going to be physical. You know they want to own the game at the line of scrimmage. Thankfully for USC and D'Anton Lynn, they've been building up that front seven. They love the line of scrimmage. They're not afraid to play you in the trenches anymore. But Illinois getting a lot of hype coming into the season. Some people are picking them as a dark horse to compete for the Big Ten title. You got to keep your eyes on this team. Luke Altmaier coming back. This guy's been playing college football for like 10 years now. He had a great season last year. 23 touchdowns or something like that, just under 3,000 yards. And this team can run the ball. They're going to line up in the eye. They're going to run it right at you. They're going to have a good physical run game. They're going to try to play time of possession. They're going to try to control the clock, keep the ball out of the USC Trojans' offensive hands. That's where that new revamped USC defense comes in, where they can get the defense off the field, get the offense back on the field. They want to win this game by their offense, but they want to base that and have the foundation on that defense, getting 3-and-out possessions, giving the offense as many reps as possible to score the ball. I do have this game as a toss-up. The reason it is I think if you force me to bet right now, I'd probably lean slightly Trojans, but the Fighting Illini, you have to take this team serious. They had a great season last year. They have a lot of hype coming into this season. Can they live up to the hype right now? That's going to be the massive question here. Can they keep that momentum going over a 12-game regular season schedule? And then after that, Saturday, October 4th, you have a bye week. I want a bye week here because of who's coming up next on the schedule, especially after a physical Illini game. I want a week to kind of rest, focus on some things that were working, retool some things that were not working, and then right after that, we have a big one. Saturday, October 11th, the Michigan Wolverines coming to the Coliseum right now. We know this Michigan team, 8-4 last season. Sharon Moore, first season as the full-time head coach here. They had an atrocious offense last season, but they could run the ball on anyone. One thing I will say about Michigan, whether it's Moore, whether it was Harbaugh, they always force their opposing team to play their style of football. No matter who they're playing, they beat the Buckeyes to win the regular season last year, and they ended up going on to win the national championship because they forced you to play their style. Slow, slogging, trench, warfare, like a 1940 type football game. It is a boring game, but when it works, it works. So USC, this game is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a low-scoring one. It's going to be boring at times. It's going to be time of possession, field position type battle. It's going to be a special teams type game. This is one of those games, if you miss a kick, that can cost you the game. Bad punt can cost you the game. A kick return can cost you the game here. This is the type of game that it's going to be. They have a new quarterback coming in. They have a 5-star quarterback, Bryce Underwood, coming in. You know they're going to run. They're going to try to keep it easy on him. True freshman, probably going to be the starter this season. You know they're going to have a good defense. They're going to line up. They're going to slow down USC's offense. That will happen. I'm not saying the Trojans will win. I'm not saying Michigan will force them to play their style of football and thus the Trojans lose. I'm saying, as of right now, this game's a toss-up. Both these teams are more than capable of winning it. USC dropped this last season, but now they're at home. This is their chance to pull it out, but it's a 50-50 one right now. And after that physical game, what's the health status for the Trojans? That is a last two rough, really physical games, and it doesn't get any easier. Saturday, October 18th at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is a game that could potentially be a game day type of game. Going to a team that played in the national championship last season. Riley Leonard's gone. I didn't think Riley Leonard was that great of a quarterback anyways, but he's gone. But one thing that you can say about this team is they're going to be physical. They're going to be even more physical than Michigan, more physical than the Illini. They're going to have a top 5 offensive line. They're going to have a great defensive front 7. They're going to have a great secondary. The big question is we don't know who their quarterback is. Is it Carr? Is it Minchie? We don't know right now, but they're going to have Jeremiah Love at the running back position, the top 5 running back in college football. They're going to have that great offensive line creating space. They're going to play the same type of game plan as the Illini. Michigan, Notre Dame. This is the 3rd straight game of old school smash mouth football. USC, they're going to probably be a little wore out at this game. I'm going to go with this being a preseason Vegas loss right now for the Trojans. Not saying they can't win it. They're definitely more than capable of winning. They were able to move the ball last season, but 3 games of that style of football, that is a rough stretch. And this next team is physical, not as physical as the previous 3, but they want to play the same style of football. Saturday, November 1st at the Nebraska Cornhuskers, going to Lincoln, Nebraska. It's going to be tough. This is my upset alert potential game. No matter what happened in the previous 3 games, you're coming in here, game 4, just a sloshing, just awful. Now, this is after a bye week. They do have a bye week Saturday, October 25th, so they've been able to kind of rest. You definitely need it here. But your mindset after this game, you are wore out. You have Nebraska here. They don't have the best offense. Dylan Raiola, freshman starting last season. He's going to be better this season. They're going to have an offense that's more attuned to his skill set, and they're going to have an offense that is focused on moving the ball and moving the ball quickly, not playing 1950 football. It's time to get to the modern age, but you don't want to lose that Cornhuskers, Nebraska physical mentality that they've been known for decades. This is a tough game. I have this marked as a toss-up. I think USC is the better team right now, but this is the 4th straight physical game. Weird things happen at this point. People get upset in these type of games. No matter what, I think this game is going to be extremely close no matter who wins it. I do think USC would win it right now, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring one, like a 33-27, 33-30, very close game, and it's going to come down to that final possession. It's probably going to come down potentially to a defensive stop, and both teams are physical. And thank God for this next matchup, Saturday, November 8th, the Northwestern Wildcats. USC's just, thankfully, they don't have to worry about the trenches. They don't have to worry about injuries. They can come in after just the brutal physical last 4 games. Even though they had a couple bye weeks, they are beat up. They are sore. They might even be coming off a loss here. You want a team that you can just grind down and beat the crap out of. That's going to be the Wildcats. They're going to be the favorites. And then this next one, kind of an interesting one, Saturday, November 15th, the Iowa Hawkeyes. You know, Kirk Ferentz, he runs that offense from 1920. It is from the Great Depression. He just won't change it. He'll have a bottom-ranked offense in the entire nation, bottom 5 every single season. But one thing he does, he'll have a top 5 special teams. He'll have a top 10 defense. They'll be able to run the ball. They'll be able to do what they do. They'll force you to play their style of football no matter who you are. This game here, marked as a toss-up because with the Iowa Hawkeyes, this is another one of those physical matchups. Whenever you watch a Hawkeyes game, it's like watching paint dry. It is awful. I hate doing it, but I respect Kirk Ferentz. I respect what they do. But if they just had a top 80 or top 100 offense, they could make the playoffs. That's how good their defense usually is. But they won't. They'll have a number 130 defense out of 132 teams. That's just the way they play. They have Gronowski coming over from South Dakota State. We know what they do over there. They win FCS championships. Now coming over to the Division I side. With this team, they're just going to run. They're going to run, and they're not going to be able to pass. No matter if they had Tom Brady there, they just wouldn't let him throw the ball. But I had this game marked as a toss-up because just like Michigan, they usually force you to play at their style, at their pace. But I am leaning USC winning a close one this matchup. Very low-scoring game, like a 20-17 type game. And I do think this next matchup is honestly going to be a shootout. We had a couple low-scoring games. This is going to be a high-scoring one. This is going to come down to the final possession. It's going to be decided in the fourth quarter, no doubt about it. Saturday, November 22nd at the Oregon Ducks, going to Eugene, Oregon. USC, very familiar with obviously playing the Oregon Ducks from the Pac-12 days. This is going to be a team. They also have a lot of new starters coming in. They're going to have a lot of pieces moving, but we know they're going to have an extremely talented team. They have them as a top 10, top 5 overall roster. You have Dan Lanning there. They're going to have a good defense. They're going to have a good offense. They've been recruiting well. They've been working the portal well, just like USC, but a lot of moving pieces. Deontay Moore, what do we see from him? Obviously, we haven't seen that much from him so far. So a lot of unknowns in this game. Some people might pick this as a toss-up, but right now, I do think Vegas is going to predict Oregon. They might not be as good as they were last year. They were the perennial number 1 team going into the playoffs last season, but I still think they'll make the playoffs this season. They just won't be the number 1 team. I do think that they'll be the Vegas favorite in this game right now. USC's capable of winning because it's a shootout. And whenever you have Lincoln Riley in a shootout, you always have a puncher's chance. It just is what it is. And now we get to close out the season, Saturday, November 29th, the UCLA Bruins. This game, obviously, in the Coliseum. With the Bruins, they have Nico coming over from Tennessee. Did not really show much at Tennessee with a great offensive-minded coach in Josh Heupel. Now he's transferring to the Bruins. He might be a little better because it's year 2 as a full-time starter. He really can't get worse. And the Bruins actually showed some fight last season. They were competitive second half of the season, but USC, they're going to have the more talented team here, but you don't want to get caught not looking in the right place. If you don't take the Bruins serious, they can pull off an upset. This is obviously a rivalry matchup. Crazy things happen here. But with Mayave here, with Nico, it could be a quarterback-driven game. Give me the Trojans. Give me Lincoln Riley. I love his offense. He's going to be the deciding factor in this game, and USC is going to pull it out in the second half, and they're going to be the favorite. So when you're looking at my schedule there, some people might roll their eyes. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guaranteed wins in my mindset. Floor is 6 wins. Don't cause a panic. That's just the guaranteed 100% wins. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 toss-ups right now. Okay, 4 toss-ups. Even if you could easily win all 4 of those, and now that's 10 wins. You could just split the toss-ups, and now you're at 8 wins with 2 potential, as of right now, Vegas guaranteed losses. So 8-4. Don't roll your eyes at that. You went 7-6 last season with the bowl game. You're 8-4 now. You're not going to make the Big Ten championship, but you can get to a bowl game, win that, and have a 9-win season. So you went from 7 wins to 9 wins. That's that momentum building back up. That's all that you can ask for. Trust the system. Trust Lincoln Riley. And guys, he has the number 1 class coming in. He wants to have a good season. He wants to keep that team together. And you're really setting up for a really good 26-27 season with the class that you are bringing in. Guys, that's our predictions. That's our view of the Vegas picks as of right now for our 25-26 USC Trojans football team. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, whether you agree, disagree, let me know down below and I will make sure to respond to every single one of them. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look down at the pinned comment below, click on that. You can sign up there. I would appreciate that, guys. And as always, thank you for watching the video today.